Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hey Ed, how are you?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm so excited for Bigfoot, and I can see you're ready for Wild Boy.
Oh, you know it, Ed. I've been sitting there waiting to do this show since I was 10 years old. I'm
Uh,
such a huge fan of Bigfoot and Wildboy.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. I
yeah.
love it. It's the best documentary series I've ever seen.
Oh, no, Ed. It wasn't a documentary. It was a kid's show from Sid and Marty Croft, like Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. It was a Saturday morning kids
No, no,
thing.
no. It's a documentary. It's based on a true story.
Oh, it's not. Bigfoot's not real, Ed.
Yeah, look. Come on. Of course he's real.
Really?
Uh, let's just start the show. Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
This is Mitch Halleck.
And welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for joining us. If you are a regular viewer, thanks for coming back. Mitch, before we delve into today's furry topic, can you tell us a little bit about how you can find out more about our channel?
Oh, Ed, it is easy as running into the great Northwest and looking for a boy all by himself and hanging out with them in the woods and getting real chummy. All you got to do is hit the button below, and you too will be subscribed to Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. And follow me and Ed anytime we go on a hairy adventure into the great wide world of the internet, looking at TV, toys, movies, and more right here on our Excellent Adventure. So, where are we off to today, Ed?
Well, we're off to the Krofft Superstars show, and then a bit of its own spin-off. A year or two later, we're looking at Bigfoot and Wildboy. Did you watch Bigfoot and Wildboy as a kid?
I I did. I was so excited when they announced this show because I was coming down off the $6 million man Bigfoot high. I mean, everything was Bigfoot. There was the Legend of Boggy Creek. There was the In Search of show with Leonard Nimoy, where Bigfoot always would pop up, and you couldn't get enough of Bigfoot as a kid. It was.
There
He's
was a
still
bit of a Bigfoot. It was like King Tut. It had a bit of renaissance in the 70s, didn't it? So
Yeah. I mean, we all believed in it. I mean, because I lived out here in the woods in the country, and you thought maybe some nights you'd hear some stuff, and who knows? Maybe that was the legendary Sasquatch out there, but
or
was it?
someone just reversing over a cat,
I
unfortunately.
know. Well, this was just not an ordinary Bigfoot, Ed. This was a super heroic Bigfoot.
He was. He basically rescued a young child who became Wild Boy. 8 years later, they worked together to team up to not solve crimes, but to
Yeah.
help the community. There's aliens involved as well. There was a whole stack of things. It starred Ray Young as Bigfoot, and we
Yes.
had Joseph Butcher playing Wild Boy. Now, Joseph Butcher really only did a few things up to 1980, and then he didn't really act again.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. There's a bigger mystery besides Bigfoot. The bigger mystery is what the hell happened to Butcher. I mean, he
hmm.
literally disappeared. I mean, I don't think he's in the witness protection program like a mob informant, but I looked, I can't find anything about him. I watched some videos online about him that we don't know what happened to him. Maybe he did get abducted. Maybe he went out in the woods and became a wild man. I don't know. If you're watching this, Mr. Butcher, call me and Ed. We want to see if you're okay.
That's all right. And we want to say thanks for a really fun show. It
Yeah.
lasted it lasted 2 seasons. It originally was part of the Krofft Super Show, which basically when it started it had Dr. Shrinker,
Yeah.
Electra Woman and Dinah Girl,
Oh,
uh
Wonder Bug or something.
Wonderbug, that's right. The
Base
Lost
the Lost
Saucer.
Saucer.
The
Yeah,
Lost
yeah, yeah,
Saucer.
yeah. Yep, yep,
And
yep, yep.
basically it was this combination of live action shows from Sid and
Yeah,
Marty Croft, as you mentioned earlier, HR Puff and stuff, and Sigmund and the
yeah.
Sea Monsters and Lidsville and a dozen others.
Oh,
And
crazy. Bug.
basically it was a 15-minute episode and it would end on a cliffhanger.
Yep, yep.
It came in the second season of the Krofft Super Show when it replaced Electra Woman and Dinah Girl and
Yeah,
also Dr. Shrinker. And
yeah.
then it branched out into its own 30-minute series the year later and
Yes,
ran
it did.
for a total of 28 episodes, which is not too bad for a kid show.
No. And the great thing is it had an awesome theme music. It was like dint, din, 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 din. That's the actual music right there.
Yeah,
Din,
that's gonna be it.
din, 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 din. But the thing of it is, it copied. I mentioned the $6 million man, but it copied that we don't have a big budget for special effects. So what we're going to do is going to slow everything down. So Bigfoot's running really fast, but they did it with the slow motion like Steve Austin, and they would show like a speedometer on a car going up to 40 to 50 miles an hour. So it's to give you the impression that Bigfoot is hauling hairy ass and running through the woods. And he would do these massive jumps.
They
So
look
much so
very
that they
familiar.
would use it again and again on the show. They would just kind of flip it, and they'd be jumping this way, or he'd be jumping that way, or he'd be jumping straight down on you there. But it was always the same footage. But
Throwing
when
lots of boulders, and it would use
lot of
almost
boulders.
that. It wasn't exactly the $6 million man
close.
sort of
It was close.
sound, but it was very close. And a lot of I would say maybe 75% of the episode is just people running.
Oh,
It's Wildboy
I'd
running,
say
it's
like
Bigfoot
90%.
running.
Yeah. Yeah. And Wildboy would talk English so we know what's going on. But Bigfoot had his own Saskatchewan language,
Saskatchewan.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't really think they had a linguistic coach like on Star Trek when they learned Klingon. I'm pretty sure the dude made it up on the fly because
I think he just had something caught in his throat most of the time, and he could get out Wildboy occasionally.
you would hear things like,
But you know what he sounds like?
what?
When I first heard him, I go, he sounds like Animal.
Oh, from the Muppets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But he would look right in and go, Naraka Ruma, Wildboy. And you'd be like, if this was years later, it would be like a Saturday Night Live sketch. But at the time, it was high drama. I mean, I was glued to my set watching this. And then I know it's not like big celebrities, but I did spot some guest stars along the way that would eventually become iconic. I saw Sorrel Brooks, who people will know as Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard. He was on an episode.
Yes.
And then there was another guy, I can't think of his name, but he was like a staple in like extra TV. Like you'd watch a show and he was always in the background as like the farmer. I could swear he always played a farmer. But they would go after Bigfoot because he was kind of like a misunderstood. Like there'd be like, I saw a classic one. It was called The Other Bigfoot.
Oh, yes.
Get ready for this. There was like the good Bigfoot and then the bad Bigfoot. There was big feet going on. And what happened is the farmer had his dog and the dog was barking and the bad Bigfoot came and the dog got loose and ran off. And then Wildboy and Bigfoot, our Bigfoot, found the dog and they're like, well, what happened, boy? Go show us. And then when he was there, they had this young friend of theirs, this young girl.
Yep.
There was two different girls.
There was Monica Ramirez, who played Susie, and there was Yvonne Regalado, who was Cindy in season 2.
In season 2. So what happened is she's driving her car and she sees Bigfoot and she thinks it's her Bigfoot, but it's the bad Bigfoot. And then in what could only be described as the most bizarre action sequences, he stands in front of her pickup truck and he's like pushing it and she's trying to get away from him. Why she just didn't throw it in reverse?
That's what I thought.
Oh, you watched it too?
I watched it too.
Just go backwards. You'll get away from this guy, you know?
Because you'll notice they also never showed the two big feet together because they only
I was thinking that. Like, did they
only had one costume?
They only had one costume because I was like getting ready for this epic fight between the two Bigfoot. It never happens. They're never on camera at the same time. And I'm thinking the same thing. Like, they did have a second suit, right? But I'm like, maybe they didn't because it didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like you said, 80% of this show on this particular episode was just running in slow motion. And it was like, if you sped this up and cut out a lot of this, I think it was like 5 minutes long, really, you know?
Yeah, it would have been. But it was still fun and, it had good morals. And, at the end, they all have a bit of a chuckle at the end, like, when they're saying, how are you not going to know he's not going to attack us again? I've got a friend of a friend.
I know. And what's even better is you said they had the 15-minute ones, which were like a serial cliffhanger and like the rocks would fall and like, what will happen to Bigfoot and Wildboy? And you'll have to wait till next week. But when they went to the full half hours, I mean, they really had to add, meaty storylines to pad out that extra 15 minutes or so. But I saw one episode which ties this into the world of Sid and Marty Croft because a sleeve stack was in the show, like the costume that the Sleestock had.
Detected at front door.
God, it's Bigfoot.
It's asleep.
So what happened is they must have just got cheap and they said, let's just use one of those other leftover costumes. And at the end of that episode, there is like a crystal like thing. And it reminded me of Enoch on the old Land of the Lost when he would do the crystal thing, go back. And I'm thinking maybe somehow this Sleestack is tied into the Land of the Lost, like it went through a portal and encountered. And then your brain starts racing and going, what if all the Sid and Marty Croft things are connected?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because they all ended up on the Krofft Supershow or the Bay City Rollers show. You know, Witchy Poo was there. The Charles Nelson Riley from Lidsville appeared on there. What I think it is all connected. And you know what it could also be connected to? Because Wildboy sort of looks a bit like Thunder the Barbarian, a young version.
Yes,
and you know that Ruby Spears were involved in the creation of
I saw the name on the credits. It said Joe Ruby. And I go, wait a minute, Ruby Spears. That's the people that'll make the freaking cartoons in the 80s and stuff. It's it's all connected, man. Hanna-Barbera. The Herculoids. The Herculoids look like, okay, get ready for this. Herculoids, somehow, that little boy that grew up with them, that little kid, somehow gets to the earth. Becomes Wildboy. Wildboy goes through time, becomes Thunder the Barbarian.
There's your Ruby Spears cinematic universe. I like it.
Bigfoot is the Mook.
Yes.
Ookla the Mook is now big, and and Holly from the Marshall Holly. She's Princess Ariel.
It could be.
That's a stretch.
It is a little bit of a stretch.
No, but it was, I mean, honestly, I literally enjoyed this. I remember this was one of my favorite shows as a kid because, I mean, what's not to love? You got a wild boy and you got a Bigfoot.
That's right. It's all there in the title. Now, we always
talk,
in the
title.
It is. Yeah. We always talk merchandise. There wasn't a lot of merchandise. They did do a VHS release and they did do a DVD release of the complete series. They did a comic book.
There was a comic book. Yep, they were.
And they also did a jigsaw. One of those. Is it Whitman? I think no, not
Whitman. Yeah, Whitman did the jigsaw.
I think they did jigsaw puzzles. So they did that, but that's really about it. It hasn't seen a lot of love on no pop vinyls or anything like that. Which is surprising.
No Funko, no board game. Did they even have a lunchbox?
I don't think so. I think Krofft Superstars did, but so maybe they appeared on that, but I don't know.
But
if there is, I'll put a pickup.
And the funny thing is, the guy that played Bigfoot, he wasn't real, Ed.
Oh,
is it Ray Curtis?
It's Ray Young.
Ray Young. I'm sorry. He would go on to play Jethro in the revival of the Beverly Hillbillies because the original Jethro wouldn't do it. So he did have a career. I mean, most people, after they play Bigfoot, that's kind of like a career ender, but no, Ray Young went on.
So I have hope. I have hope to.
He went on. He was in other movies after Bigfoot and Wildboy. This was just his launching pad.
Did you know something also that Ray Young, who's Bigfoot, and Monica Ramirez, who was Susie, both died at the same age?
Kind of dark. Again, we always take our show into a dark place. I hope they weren't on that plane that went down in some other episode we were talking about with the housekeeper from Sigmund the Sea Monster.
That's right. Oh, that's right. And her husband.
Oh, it
is all connected.
If that happened, that would be. I would seriously begin to wonder if the CIA was trying to take out Sid and Marty. Well, it's funny.
We lost him not too long ago, didn't we?
No, but I personally am going to go on a trek in a month or so upstate to Massachusetts because Marty Croft will be there along with the Land of the Lost cast, and Johnny Whitaker from Sigmund the Sea Monsters will be there, and I'm going to corner them and find out what's the story behind Bigfoot and Wildboy and why we can't have them back.
That would
be heard it here.
Excellent. And give my best to just Wesley, not Wesley Ure, just Wesley. when you
Oh,
see
that's
him.
right. He was the rock star. He
I
should have
do.
been
I've got
on it.
I've got here. In fact, it's
gave-
right here. There it
I
is.
gave
Look.
you his autograph. Yeah, there he is, right there. All right.
Run, Holly, run. Fantastic
I
stuff.
don't know, but again, Ed, we weren't looking for a high drama as a kid, but this was
No.
really up there. And you know what? You got the Incredible Hulk a couple years later, which was maybe bigger budget, but it wasn't more far-fetched than this show because they did a lot of running, a lot of jumping, and storylines weren't that high-techy, you know.
Yeah.
But,
I just love the promo photo that we've used for our artwork for the show, and it looks like, if you didn't know, you could tell someone, hey, yeah, that's Luke Skywalker and Chewbacca, and
right?
you'd go, it's like a low budget Luke
Well,
and Chewie.
didn't this predate Star Wars? I think this was
Well,
like
77. So
Oh, okay. Well, maybe George Lucas.
I think it opened. I think it opened around September. I've got a feeling September.
It was in the fall.
77.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They didn't have
anyway.
time to put this together.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what? You
Lucas
can find
stole
out.
it.
What's that?
Lucas stole it from them.
That's right.
Well, you got to do the call though, Ed. You didn't do the noise.
Well, I couldn't do it because
Well,
you know.
no.
Are you going to do it?
You know, Wildboy would do this shout.
Yeah.
And he would call Bigfoot like Tarzan's yell. He would when he was in trouble. Now picture me in skin tight leather and shorts.
I do regularly.
I'm gonna do it. Get ready. Get ready for you folks at home.
All right.
Well, actually, that was Bigfoot's sound. But Wildboy would go, "No-ra-rama!" And no matter where he was, Bigfoot would hear it. And
Yep.
he'd answer the call and he'd go, "No-ra-rama!" And he would jump. And dude could jump like miles.
yeah. It was a jump and fall.
And then I wish I had a giant styrofoam rock. I'd throw it at you right now. And then we got to play the music now. Din, 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 din.
You know what you can do if you want to find out more things about fantastic shows like Bigfoot and Wildboy, Herculoid, Space Ghost, Sigmund on the Sea Monster. Have we did Siggy in the Sea
We did
Monster?
Siggy in the Sea Monster. We did
I've
Land
lost
of the
track.
Lost.
Yeah,
Don't you
Land of
watch
the
this
Lost.
show?
How can you find out more? No. How can you find out more about what we do, Mitch?
Oh, and it is easy as tying a lamb to a stake and hoping a mountain lion eats it just to lure Bigfoot, which was an episode. I watched that one. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button below. And you too, on YouTube, we'll be able to watch me and Ed as we go back into the past, dust off our brain cells, and try to remember what in the hell we did as a kid. Right here on Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure every other week or whenever we get together, just for your free entertainment.
That's
That's
right.
it.
So signing off, this is Bigfoot.
This is Wildboy.
And we'll see you next episode. Thanks for watching.